Hi, lovely people. I warmly welcome you all to this amazing show. I'm your host, Na Ajeli, and today we'll be diving deeper into how diet culture affects our health and also how we can break the chains of unrealistic beauty standards. Stay glued to your seats, don't scroll, don't move. We will be right back. Welcome back to this show. I can tell most of you are struggling with the weight of the topic, hearing unrealistic beauty standards, and probably it might be your first time hearing diet culture, but don't worry. That's why I'm your host, I've got you. So I went all the way to the University of Cape Coast to invite some esteemed student dietitians, and today I am honored to have them here in our midst. So we have
Wisdom Medic Magin is the name.
Cheryl Elomakolache, Nasewa Juma, Kosha Kumilo, and I'm Mary Ekiwa.
Thank you all so much for honoring my invitation, and I welcome you all today. So, Mr. Wisdom,
Yes.
I'll take you right. If you so, hearing of diet culture, unrealistic beauty standards, what's your overall take or your general overview? I want you to go in depth with us so that my viewers can really understand today's topic.
All right. So thank you very much for the opportunity. So before I start, what is diet culture at all? Diet culture is a belief system in the society where thinness or fatness, body shape, and even overall body image is equated to good health, that of what? Beauty and overall what? Well-being. When it comes to unrealistic beauty standard, we are saying that one may be thin and regarded as beautiful. One too may also be fat and regarded as beautiful, depending on the society in which he or she finds herself. So, unrealistic beauty standard propagates the idea of achieving a certain body shape, image, or appearance in not necessarily depending on the desire of the individual involved, but to conform to the acceptance of the society in which they find themselves and also their what? Personal self-worth. So in these regards, some turn out to cut their calories intake drastically, regardless of the implication that it may pose on them. They even jump the various protocols of meeting the professionals that are good at what? Giving them the procedures that they have to follow to lose weight or gain weight and meet the normal conformity of their society in which they find themselves. So for that matter, in all, it tends to against people's what? Their diets in brief. Then also, I like to talk on the fact that once they engage in this kind of what practices or acts, you see, it has, we know that diet really has that kind of what strong impact, both negative and that of what positive on our well-being, such as your mental health, such as your overall outfit in the society, even our nutrition. Thank you very much, like you had up. So you see, when you, especially those who are doing hard work in the morning, so you need to get certain caloric level that you can be able to focus and sharpen your memory. But due to the society where they find themselves, they are stigmatized of their body size, being it fat, over fat, or overweight, and what have you, or thin. They tend to restrict their calories intake, and for that matter, it has to affect on what their diet. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. So if I really understand what you said, it's actually a belief system where people try to conform to certain beauty standards that a particular society has set for them. So probably you will be in a society where because you are chubby, you are not accepted. And because of that, you would go the extra mile, probably jump certain professional procedures just to have that shape that the society wants you to conform to. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank
So, Miss Portia, thank you so much for honoring my invite. Hope you are doing well. All right, sure. So, probably or definitely, whatever Mr. Wisdom said has a motive or it is being backed by something. But somebody wouldn't just get up one day and be like, I don't like my body image. I want to change this about me. I want to change that about me. It might be because of a root cause. So, what do you think are some of the key factors that will lead somebody to have a negative body image about him or herself? Okay, so
Thank you for your question. Yeah, I can. So, in my view, there are several key factors that contribute to an individual developing a negative body image. One major key factor is pressure from social media. So, let's say one day you are there and then you decide to scroll through TikTok and this particular video just pop up. And then you see a lady in her gym outfit with this flat tummy, big breast, curvy shape, and then you begin to wonder, why don't I have this shape? What am I not doing right? In this, you try to do everything possible, like skipping meals, eating once a day, just to get that shape right. So this can also be a factor. And then another factor is pressure from friends. Sometimes the people around us can make us feel less of ourselves. So let's say you are in a group of friends and what they always talk about is dieting, going to the gym. When these things happen, you feel less of yourself. You begin to do everything possible, like skipping meals, eating once a day, just to get that shape.
So that's why. Okay, thank you so much. With what Miss Portia said, I think with everything that she said, the major key factor that I really want to stress on is social media, because we all know what happens on the media. Seeing your popular person with the curvy news and all that, people doing liposuction and everything, and I'm thin and I want to be like them. So like whatever measures that I'll take, regardless of it not being unhealthy or whatever ways, I would go the extra mile just to do that. Thank you so much. So, missing Mr. Wisdom, Mr. Wisdom, back to you again. So, what do you think are some of the effects or some of the mental effects that diet culture or having a negative bad image has on an individual? How does it pose a risk on our mental health?
All right. So once again, I'd like to say thank you for another opportunity to pop up again. All right. So when it comes to mentality associated with diet culture, we are saying that mental health is when you are free. You are able to think and focus on what you really meant for your day or schedule for your day. But in the case of diet culture, people tend out to have stress on their mind in a sense that they find themselves, like our sister earlier stated, first year. You see that when you cite things on social media and you are not comfortable with your body image, you tend out being stressed. In other words, you tend out being what? Anxious and that of depressed. You get that? And so for that matter, you find everything humanly possible to skip your diets. You become like you don't conform to the reality on the ground when it comes to diet. So you may tend to skip your diet. You may tend to even adjust your diet or your calories. That is, if you are thin, you want to also make sure that you become like fat and fit into your peers. So you may try to increase the calories. You'll be thinking about this, so you'll be distressed. Another way in which it's diet culture can impact you mentally is that it tends to affect your eating disorder, and that of what? Disorder eating. This means therefore that you may skip meals often. You may also restrict your calories intake, or you may also increase it. That is if you are thin or you have a body image that you are not comfortable with it, depending on the state in which you find yourself. Another one that I can also talk about is that of what? Body dissatisfaction, and that of what? Low self-esteem. So you see that, oh, let's assume, so we are seated, as you can see my sitting here. So I may think, oh, why am I so like this? Look at me, very lanky wisdom. Oh, come on. I must also make sure that I become like my sister Nancy seated on my left-hand side here. Sorry to use that example. And so for that matter, it means therefore, even in a society that I find myself, you see, they regard lanky or thin people as not being healthy. Like I earlier stated in my guide culture definition, not attractive. So in the case of our females, again, so they feel like boys are not checking them. So they are always not comfortable with their body images. So they have to do everything humanly possible. So it tends to give a lot of pressure on them. So even as students, upgrowing students, like you said, so I may not have that free mindset to focus academically. So in all, diet culture really have a major impact on our mental health. Thank you very much.
So, with what you were saying, I wanted to ask. So, assuming somebody has a larger body and the person wants to lose weight. And isn't it a benefit because after all, it wouldn't make the person susceptible to any chronic disease? So like, how is that something negative?
Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for your question. Okay, so we know that some people are genetically predispositioned to what? Body sizes. So you might see somebody being what? Fat, like I earlier used our sister here. And that does not mean that she's not healthy and prone to these kind of what non-communicable diseases such as diabetes and that of what? Hypertension, etc. You get that? But it based on the environment or it based on the genetic predisposition of her family roots, tracing that way back. And some also might also be what? Thin. And that does not mean that the person is not what? Like healthy. You get that? But all that matters is that even if you want to lose weight, you want to fit into the society, then at least you should go in a professional way where you see somebody expertise who is actually more of inside, has undergone training for some years or months and can help you lose weight. But you shouldn't go extra miles to drastically cut down your calories. You drastically increase your calories regardless of the implication that it may pose on your health. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Wisdom. We really appreciate your insights and epic though. So moving forward, we like to ask Miss Nancy how diet culture affects our nutrition. Because with what Mr. Wisdom said, it looks like aside from the mental effect it has on us, it also affects our nutrition. You say people will skip diet, but they'll cut down their calories, their protein requirements and everything. So Miss Nancy, if you could go in depth about how diet culture affects our nutrition.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. Diet culture affects our nutrition in many ways, such that diet culture encourages restrictive diets. People cut down their diets just to meet some of their, but like people cut out their diets just because they have some intention of either gaining weight or losing weight. So when this happens, it can lead to nutrient deficiency, low energy level, or poor immune function. Also, diet culture focuses on weight, not health. The main goal of diet culture becomes thinness or fatness instead of nutrition balance. Instead of nutrient balance, instead of nutrient balance, overall well-being or strength. So people may prefer low or high calorie diet instead of high nutrients diet. Also, diet culture encourages poor diet culture encourages poor eating disorders or poor eating patterns. Also, when people thinks when people classifies foods as good or bad, they choose to eat what they think is good. So it makes them what they think is good could be possibly what's not good in our settings. So they choose to eat what they like. And with this, it can lead to
All right, so not to cut it short, I want to just chip in this. So, in a case of nutrition, like we are saying, because of the diet culture or that of the notion of unrealistic beauty standard conforming to our modern world, you get that people tend out to electrocute or restrict their calories intakes. So, for example, we know that the measures of what energy fueling the brain is that of what? Carbohydrate, where we get glucose from carbohydrates. So people tend to even skip their meals. So let's say you kickstart your day refreshed and well energetic and highly focused. So you may skip your meals, especially that of the carbohydrate, where your brain may begin to perform lowly or malfunction because you have shot at that of what the nitrates, you've lost the nitrates are just what the glucose that you were supposed to get. So thank you very much for that.
okay. So with a disordered eating pattern, it can lead people from skipping meals or emotional eating. Using myself as an example, if I stand in a mirror, I see myself to be a fat person. So sometimes I used to skip meals just having an intention of losing weight. But sometimes for a while, I learned to realize that skipping of the meals didn't help in the weight loss, but rather was doing calm down. So after I learned of diet culture, I realized skipping of meals doesn't help in weight loss. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, it's funny how the world is unbalanced because she says she wants to lose weight, and I'm also praying I become obolo some more. Not like fat, but the body should count some more. You get me? Yes. So, I hope you at school, you on your phone, you are learning something. So, don't skip meals. Your nutrition is very dear to our cats. All right. So, Miss Cheryl. Miss Cheryl. Yes. So you are our motivational speaker for today. So I want you to just give us some actionable strategies that will help people, that will help the lady watching us, that will help the gentleman watching us to know that no, your body image is perfectly fine. Even if you want to do some adjustment to it, follow the right processes. So give us some actionable strategies that we can take to avoid having a negative body image about us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. So, like our sister said, some of the root causes was basically on social media. So, one thing to overcome these negative influences is to unfollow those social media accounts. When you have accounts or people you are following that influences you badly, purposely on diet culture, you unfollow them and follow positive accounts. And also, mentally, if you are depressed, if you are going through something, particularly within your peers, in their body shaming you and all of that, you just seek support because you can't just say it like and going away from them. No, be seek support. Talk to others that would also advise you on things that will make you so good of yourself. And also focus on addition, not subtraction. In this sense, it means instead of cutting out some foods you eat, add nutritious foods, and also how your eating habits should be nutritious, not necessarily cutting out some calories because I want to lose weight or all of that. To know diet culture we know is basically on weight, appearance, body shape, no, and being healthy and also our well-being. Yes. And again, to one thing I would also say is the respect yourself, be kind to yourself, how you are. Take it like that. Don't say I want to fit in this place or I want to fit in where I find myself. So let me be like them. Yes, we don't. So you respect how you are, be kind with yourself, and also you practice in suicide eating, as in eat when you're hungry, you stop when you're full, and don't think of the some ifs. Visual, yes. So we are student dietitians and probably will be dietitians. Yes. So when you need any support, the right person to go to is a dietitian. We are there. That's why we are studying this profession to manage you using diet. So if you need any problem, get a dietitian. You seek advice. They will talk to you, give you foods you're supposed to eat, and everything is. That's why our slogan is your diet is your medicine.
Thank you. That's true. So, right from Miss Cheryl's mouth, eat when you're hungry, and when you are full, you have to stop. And also eat a balanced meal. So, we would like to take our last guest speaker, who is in the person of Miss Mary. And for the benefit of those of you that were late and just joined us, don't worry. I'm your host, so I've got you covered. So Miss Mary will just give us a general overview of whatever that has been said, a take-home message, so that you can have something to go home with. You can have something to practicalize your day-to-day activities, and you all be with. So Miss Mary, can you just wrap up everything that we said? Just a taking message for our viewers and those that just joined the CSKs. Thank you very much. I all call me. So overall, body image today is largely shaped by
social pressure and diet culture, especially social media. Social media, which often promote unrealistic beauty standards, and this pressure contribute to negative body image, restrictive eating, and mental health challenges like mental health challenges like guilt and anxiety around food. Nutritionally, diet culture nutritionally, diet culture can push someone towards unhealthy restriction, which can on their unhealthy restriction, which can affect their overall well-being. So improving body image, that isn't just about changing the body, but it is about changing the narrative and perspective by promoting balanced nutrition and also realistic understanding of health. And also, it is important to say that losing weight is not bad, but the problem comes in when the desire is driven by the pressure of the community, like the pressure to fit in. So this desire can be solved by the guidance of professionals. That's why we have dietitians and nutritionists. So if you are there and you don't like your body, like you feel you are you are overweight and you want to lose weight, there are professional ways. There are a good way to go. The best way is to go and see professionals like dietitian who can help you through the better way. Thank you.
No. Oh, thank you all so much with them. You'll add something.
Yes, Lisa, thank you very much. I'd like to add something later also. So let's look at today's model, especially here in Ghana. There are some societies that if you are giant or if you are fat, you are fit in. But somebody who is thin or is not fat may know what the fit and
Exactly.
be able to.
When yes, you will find
Yeah, so-
yourself in societies where, like Ghana, like this,
Yeah.
somebody who has sports belly is rich.
Rich, yes.
And when you're married and your wife, you are a wife and you're thin, they'll be like, your
Your
husband
husband
doesn't take good care
Oh,
of you.
really?
Yes.
But when you
Yes.
start
Yeah.
becoming
So-
chubby and all of
Your
that,
husband takes good care of
Oh,
you.
wow.
Exactly.
So I think I watched a video last some few days before when we started this research work concerning diet culture and its relation or stretching with that of what already is the beauty standard. So in the Western world, mostly they appreciate, you know what, this thinness as health, as beautiful, and you are general over, general well-being is okay. But in Ghana, it's very different together. We want thick ladies, boys. So if you're not thick, guys, ladies, they're like, don't check there. They don't call them, you don't appreciate it. And so it really tends to affect them. So they try to do everything humanly possible to, go against their diet culture or misuse their diets. Thank you very much.
And also, it's not only about the ladies, the guys too.
Yes.
Some
Looks
of
like
them want to have six packs. When you
We've
see the
channeled
guys
everything.
yes, when they see the guys
Yes.
on social media having six packs,
Yes.
I want to have six
Then
packs.
they've smeared
So
oil on
excessive
it.
gym, they do
So
excessive gym.
Rigorous exercise.
Yes.
Wow.
Which
Wow.
also have negative.
I think I've started some these days.
Really?
Yeah. Even despite my body shape, as you can see, I've started some.
Okay.
I want to get a six-pack.
Okay.
Yeah. Although it's not easy, I'm getting some a whole lot, but I'm trying to even skipping meals. I think today I just ate only once.
Okay.
All right, thank you all so much for honoring my invitation. We cannot tell it was quite an impactful conversation. It was a nice interaction, and I'm sure now you know what diet culture is, and you've learned so many things in terms of how it can affect your mental well-being, your nutrition, and also our motivational speaker, Miss Cheryl, gave us some actionable strategies that we can take to make sure we are on the right path. So, hey, you watching me, you're so beautiful. And regardless of the fact that you don't like your body image, like they say, they have right protocols that you can follow. But then, first of all, accept who you are. This is who you are. You are beautiful. You are smart. Say to yourself that this is who I am, beautifully created by God. Thank you all so much for staying with us, and we appreciate you all so much. We see you another time, another year. See you all. Bye-bye.